What is for me the best film so far in 1998, an astonishing visual and dramatic triumph named Dark City.
Imagine waking up in a city where the buildings transform at midnight, where your memories might not be your own, and where the sun never rises. In 1998, before The Matrix made us question our reality, another film took us deep into a world of perpetual darkness. This is Dark City. In February 1998, director Alex Proyas unleashed Dark City onto an unsuspecting world. This neo-noir masterpiece follows John Murdoch, a man who awakens with no memories in a mysterious city where it's always night. While it may not have dominated the box office, Dark City has become one of the most influential science fiction films ever made, inspiring countless movies that followed. From its groundbreaking visual effects to its deep philosophical themes, this film was years ahead of its time. Today we're going to explore the hidden secrets, fascinating production details, and lasting impact of this visionary film. Whether you're a longtime fan or discovering Dark City for the first time, these facts will make you see the movie in a whole new light. Number 1. The iconic opening narration that explains the strangers in their city wasn't part of Proyas' original vision. The studio forced this addition, believing audiences wouldn't understand the film's complex plot. Proyas fought against it, wanting viewers to discover the mystery alongside John Murdoch.
All throughout production, we had fought that battle because we wanted the audience to be confused at the beginning of the movie.
But it was literally that thing of the studio not allowing an audience to kind of add up the sums as they go. They wanted it clear at the beginning.
Years later, he released a director's cut that removed the narration entirely, allowing the story to unfold naturally. Interestingly, Roger Ebert, one of the film's biggest champions, agreed that the movie works better without the explanation, saying it preserves the film's essential mystery. Number 2, Russell Crowe was originally cast as John Murdoch, but dropped out just before filming began. The role then went to Rufus Sewell, fundamentally changing the character's presence. While Crowe would have brought a more physically imposing energy, Sewell's haunted, vulnerable performance perfectly captured Murdoch's confusion and growing awareness. The casting change also helped establish Sewell in Hollywood, though ironically, Crowe would go on to achieve superstardom the following year with LA Confidential, another neo-noir film. Number 3, Dark City's stunning cityscape was built entirely inside an abandoned factory in Sydney, Australia. The production team constructed a massive 1/12 scale model of the city spanning over 60 feet wide. Every building was meticulously crafted to be filmed from any angle, with working lights and mechanical parts for the transformation scenes. The model was so detailed that the crew nicknamed it Little Manhattan. Some of these miniature buildings were later repurposed for The Matrix, which began filming in the same location shortly after. If you're enjoying these revelations about Dark City, stick around. We've got 17 more mind-bending facts coming up, including some incredible connections to other sci-fi classics that will blow your mind. Number 4. The stranger's unique appearance was inspired by German expressionist films of the 1920s, particularly Nosferatu. Their pale skin, bald heads, and long black coats were designed to evoke a sense of otherworldly menace. Costume designer Liz Keogh created their iconic leather trench coats using specialized materials that would catch and reflect light differently than normal fabric. Each stranger actor spent 4 hours in makeup daily, with their eyebrows completely removed and replaced with prosthetics. This distinctive look influenced future movie villains, including the gentleman from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Number 5, Jennifer Connelly learned to play the piano specifically for her role as Emma. She spent 3 months practicing 4 hours daily to perform Sway convincingly on screen. The song choice itself was deliberate. Its lyrics about memory and lost love mirror the film's themes. Connelly actually played and sang during filming, though the final version was dubbed. Her dedication to the role impressed Proyas so much that he expanded Emma's musical scenes, adding depth to her character's storyline and making her more than just Murdoch's missing wife. Number 6, the film's unique color palette was achieved through a groundbreaking technique called bleach bypass, which retained silver in the film stock during processing. This created the distinctive high-contrast, desaturated look that emphasizes the city's perpetual darkness. Cinematographer Dariusz Wolski had to carefully plan each shot because the process couldn't be undone. The technique was so effective that it influenced countless films afterward, including Seven and Minority Report. Even modern digital films still try to recreate this distinctive visual style. Number 7. The concept of tuning. The stranger's ability to alter physical reality was inspired by quantum physics and the observer effect. Production designer Patrick Tatopoulos created mechanical models that could actually transform on camera, minimizing the need for CGI. Each building transformation was filmed practically using hydraulic systems and moving parts, then enhanced with subtle digital effects. The physical models were so complex that a single tuning sequence could take up to 3 weeks to film. This practical approach gives the film's effects a weight and reality that purely digital transformations often lack. Number 8. William Hurt's character, Inspector Frank Bumstead, underwent a dramatic transformation during production that fundamentally changed the film's narrative structure. Initially written as an antagonistic force-hunting Murdoch, Hurt collaborated with Proyas to reshape Bumstead into a complex investigator whose own journey of discovery parallels the protagonists. Hurt spent several weeks shadowing real homicide detectives in Sydney, incorporating their methodical approach and subtle mannerisms into his performance. This character evolution required substantial script rewrites, but added crucial layers to the story's exploration of identity and reality. The change also created a powerful dynamic between Bumstead and Murdoch, as both men gradually realized the artificial nature of their world. Hurt later revealed that he based Bumstead's growing awareness on interviews with people who had experienced sudden paradigm shifts in their beliefs, adding psychological authenticity to his performance. Number 9. The spiral motif that appears throughout Dark City represents one of cinema's most intricate uses of symbolic imagery. This geometric pattern appears in over 50 different forms throughout the film, from obvious elements like the shell casing spiral to subtle architectural details in the background. Production designer Patrick Tatopoulos incorporated spirals into every major set piece, often hiding them in plain sight. The pattern appears in building designs, street layouts, and even in the way characters move through scenes. The spiral serves multiple symbolic purposes, representing the cyclical nature of the stranger's experiments, the endless loop of artificial memories, and humanity's potential for breaking free from predetermined patterns. Director Alex Proyas planned each spiral placement meticulously, creating a visual subtext that rewards repeated viewings with new discoveries. Number 10. Shell Beach, the film's mythical seaside paradise that no one can reach, represents Dark City's most elaborate and expensive single concept. The production team constructed multiple versions of Shell Beach for different story moments, including a massive 30-foot-high billboard wall that cost nearly $100,000 to build. A practical beach set was created for a single shot, using 20 tons of imported sand and a painted backdrop. The actual Shell Beach memories were filmed at Bondi Beach in Sydney, but heavily modified with digital effects to create an idealized version that couldn't exist in reality. The location's multiple iterations, in memories, advertisements, and the final reveal, required different filming techniques for each appearance. This complicated production element became central to the film's themes about the nature of reality versus manufactured memories. Number 11. Kiefer Sutherland's distinctive performance as Dr. Schraber was inspired by his grandfather's battle with Parkinson's disease. His hunched posture, labored breathing, and halting speech patterns were all based on careful observation of Parkinson's symptoms. Sutherland spent 2 weeks practicing the specific walk and vocal patterns before filming began. The character's addiction to self-administered injections was added to explain the physical symptoms, creating a tragic backstory that wasn't explicitly stated in the film. Number 12. The stranger's telepathic abilities were visualized using a revolutionary liquid light effect. Rather than traditional animation, the effects team used high-speed cameras to film various chemical reactions, including mercury and oil interactions. These organic movements were then digitally enhanced to create the rippling, fluid motion of the stranger's psychic powers. The technique was so innovative that Industrial Light and Magic later adapted it for use in other films. Number 13. The floating syringes in Dr. Schreber's lab were achieved without any CGI. The props department created hollow glass syringes filled with a special liquid that matched the specific gravity of the water tanks they floated in. Each syringe was carefully balanced to achieve neutral buoyancy, allowing them to hover naturally on camera. This practical effect took over 2 weeks to perfect, with technicians adjusting the mixture daily as temperature changes affected the floating behavior. The eerie, dreamlike quality of these floating instruments instruments became one of the film's most memorable visual elements, proving sometimes old-school techniques surpass digital effects. Number 14. A hidden numerical pattern appears throughout Dark City, the number 139. It shows up on buildings, clocks, door numbers, and even character dialogues. This wasn't random. It represents the number of times the strangers had reset the city before John Murdoch awakened. Director Alex Proyas included this detail to suggest that while Murdoch might be the first to resist successfully, others had tried before. Eagle-eyed viewers can spot 139 in at least 20 different scenes, including the pivotal moment when Murdoch discovers his true identity. Number 15. The original script featured a completely different third act, where the strangers were revealed to be future humans rather than aliens. This version explained they were studying their ancestors to understand what humanity had lost. The change to alien antagonists came late in pre-production, requiring substantial rewrites. However, subtle hints of this original concept remain in the final film, particularly in the strangers' fascination with human individuality and their dying civilization's desperate search for survival through understanding humanity. Number 16. Dark City nearly had an entirely different cast. Beyond Russell Crowe's potential role as Murdoch, several other major stars were considered. Gary Oldman was originally approached to play Dr. Schreiber, while Gene Hackman was the first choice for Inspector Bumstead. Most surprisingly, Emma was initially written for Sharon Stone, who had just starred in Basic Instinct. The studio pushed for these bigger names to increase the film's commercial appeal, but Proyas fought to cast lesser-known actors who better fit his vision. This decision proved crucial to the film's unique atmosphere, as the relatively unfamiliar faces helped maintain the dreamlike quality. Jennifer Connelly was eventually cast after Proyas saw her in Labyrinth, believing she could bring both vulnerability and strength to Emma's character. The final cast ensemble received critical praise for their chemistry. Number 17. The film's unique architectural style combines elements from 1940s film noir, German expressionism, and Art Deco, creating a timeless cityscape that can't be pinned to any specific era. Production designer Patrick Tatopoulos and his team studied architectural movements spanning 50 years to create this distinctive look. They built over 50 different miniature buildings, each with its own transformation mechanism. The design team created detailed blueprints for every structure, including internal layouts that were never seen on screen, to ensure consistency during the tuning sequences. This attention to detail extended to the full-size sets, where even background buildings were constructed with working windows and practical lighting. The architecture itself becomes a character in the film, with each building designed to evoke a sense of oppressive paranoia. Number 18. The memory injection sequences required groundbreaking practical effects combined with early CGI. The production team created a unique memory fluid using a mixture of glycerin, water, and metallic particles that would catch light in unusual ways. This liquid was filmed at various speeds and temperatures to create different effects, then digitally enhanced to add the ethereal glow. The injection apparatus itself was a fully functional practical prop that could deliver the fluid on camera. Dr. Schreiber's laboratory contained over 200 unique memory vials, each individually labeled with detailed histories and dates. These labels tell their own story if viewed closely, revealing the extent of the strangers' experiments and the tragic histories of their subjects. Number 19. The famous clock motif throughout Dark City goes beyond mere set decoration. It represents a complex visual system that tracks the city's artificial day-night cycle. Every clock shown in the film was specially manufactured to include subtle mechanical modifications that suggest they're controlled by the strangers. The props department created over 300 unique clocks, each with working mechanisms that could be synchronized for specific scenes. The midnight reset sequence required 47 different clocks to stop simultaneously, achieved through a complex radio-controlled system. Even background clocks were functional and set to specific times that corresponded to the story's timeline. The production team maintained a detailed clock Bible that mapped every timepiece's location and significance throughout the film, ensuring continuity across scenes. This obsessive attention to detail helped create the film's oppressive atmosphere of controlled time. Number 20. The film's original ending included a sequence where Murdoch discovers multiple versions of the city floating in space space, each one containing different iterations of the same experiments. This massive reveal would have shown hundreds of dark cities, each housing its own population of test subjects. The sequence was fully storyboarded and partially filmed using elaborate miniatures costing nearly $2 million. However, test audiences found it too overwhelming, and the studio worried it would make the film too confusing. Proyas ultimately decided to focus on the single city for a more intimate ending. The unused footage and miniatures were reportedly stored in an Australian film archive, though some elements were later recycled for Matrix sequels. This alternate ending would have completely changed the film's implications about the scope of the Stranger's experiments. Bonus fact, Alex Proyas and his team created a 400-page Dark City Bible that detailed every aspect of the world, including the complete history of the Stranger's civilization, the mechanics of tuning, and backstories for every named character. This document contained intricate details never mentioned in the film, including the origin of the Stranger's dying world, the true nature of their experiments, and what happened to Earth's original population. The Bible also outlined plans for potential sequels that would have revealed more about the universe beyond the city. While never published, this comprehensive guide influenced every aspect of the production, from set design to character motivations. Several key crew members have confirmed its existence, though only a handful of people have ever seen its complete contents. And there you have it, 20 dark secrets that made this sci-fi masterpiece what it is. From practical effects wizardry to hidden patterns and alternate endings, Dark City continues to intrigue audiences even decades later. Whether you're discovering these secrets for the first time, or you're a longtime fan, there's always something new to uncover in this perpetually dark metropolis. Next time you watch, keep an eye out for those 139 numbers. They're everywhere once you know where to look. If you enjoyed these revelations about Dark City, hit subscribe for more deep dives into cult classics. Next week, we're exploring 12 Monkeys and its twisted time travel logic.